Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hey Guys. Still working in OnShape, but now we're going to talk about how to do detail and section views and whole callouts to make your multi-view drawings a little bit better and allow you to convey more information to the viewer or maybe a manufacturer or something like that. Alright, so what I've got here is I've got a multi-view drawing of this thimble part. Certainly not complete, but this is good for illustrating what we're trying to go over here. So let's start with section views. So up here on your toolbar, if you scroll your mouse along, you will find a tool that says section view. It looks like that. You can see once we've opened it that it gives us three different options of types of section views. So if we go vertical, we're going to slice the part up and down wherever we indicate. If we go horizontal, then we're going to slice it halfway through. And if we go angular, that'll give us an opportunity to cut it at an angle, and we can determine that by selecting the midpoint and then rotating the line that way. Alright, but I don't want an angular, I want a vertical. So vertical will give me a view looking at it depending on which way I pull away, either to the left or to the right. It seems kind of counterintuitive that if I pull it away to the right, it's actually showing me the left side, but that's kind of how it works. So if I wanted to, say, flip that direction, I can right click on the section line and say flip direction, and now it's showing me this side, and over on this side maybe that seems more in line with how you're thinking about this, but that's how we do that. Now that I've got this section view, that gives me the opportunity. I can dimension the wall thickness, maybe I can dimension how deep these little dimples go. So the section view is good for when you have kind of hidden geometry in the middle of a part, or that's kind of buried inside a part, and so, or maybe you have some blind holes. If you've used the hole tool and you've created blind tools, you're probably going to want to put a section view through where those holes are so you can show the depth of those holes, right? That's how, one of the ways we can show that those holes don't go all the way through. And when we get to hole callouts, we'll talk about how we don't have to give a dimension to the depth because it's part of the whole callout, but oftentimes it's useful to show how deep they go. Alright, so that's section view. Now what's detail view? Well, if you come up here and again hover your mouse over the different tools, you'll find detail view. To create a detail view, it's just basically like creating a center point circle. So you click where you want the center point, you pull out the circle, and everything that's inside of that circle is what's going to show up in your detail view. So you can click it to place it, and then if you're like, oh no, there's way too much, like I don't like how big that is, you can narrow it down. You can make it smaller by grabbing the outside, see that little dot right there. Or if you're like, no, it's not quite placed, I want to include that very center of the part, you can drag the circle around, and that will reflect what's there. Now when you do a section view, even though there's a little B right there, you want to add a leader line. To do so, hover your mouse over the circle and right click and say add leader. You can see that as I move my mouse around, it's going to change the way that leader line looks, and if I'm not happy with, say, where the arrow is, I can move that arrow. Oops, I moved the circle wrong, grabbed the wrong part. Drag that. There's, I've got the arrow. So grabbing the right dot, I grabbed this dot by accident. So I can pull that back out a little bit more. And my leader line updated. Now I don't generally like to have a leader line that is almost straight like that, so I'm always going to give it a little bend. Alright, so that's how we place our leader line. Now if I'm looking at this drawing, I'm thinking, boy, this is really crowded. I really could use a second sheet. So if I come over here, you see where it says sheet 1. If I slide down here, this is where I can add another sheet. So I add another sheet by opening up the sheets, and then up here in the upper right hand corner it says insert sheet. So now I have a second sheet. To close this, we just click on this little icon again. And now if I go back to sheet 1, come up here, go back to sheet 1, I could come over to these views and I can right click and I can say move to sheet. From my drop down list I can select sheet 2, and now once I'm in here I can accept that. I can grab this and move it, and grab this and move it around. So there's my detail view, and now I can dimension that. If I go back to sheet 1, double click to get back here, I can come to my section view and I can move to sheet, and again move to sheet 2, click to accept that, click and drag, and there's my section view. And now I can go ahead and detail that out. All right, let's talk about whole callouts for a second. So let me close this and go back to, and I'm gonna go to this where I did these holes. Whole callouts are really easy, very easy. So if we go to our dimension tool, all the way down at the bottom, there is the dimension for whole callouts. If I highlight a hole, click and pull away, OnShape fills in all those, fills in the whole callout for me. So now I can see that it's a 3/8 through hole counter bore with a 1-inch diameter top, half an inch deep. But I have 6 of those, so I don't need to do all 6. So this is going to really help clean up your drawing. So if you see this little box right here, if you click on that, kind of hover over that box, this gives you a number of places here, 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 and here where you can add information. So if I wanted to add at the end of this TYP, which stands for typical, space 6, and then click off somewhere on the sheet, you'll see that what I've done is I've added typical 6. Now I don't know if I like where that is. I think I'm going to come back here, maybe add a space in front of it to kind of move it away from my call out so it's a little bit clearer. So now I can see that this is what the hole is and that there's 6 occurrences. So you can really use that. You can use that in just about any dimension that you create. If I go back up and I create just a regular dimension, say I dimension this circle, you'll see that this box comes every time you create something. So obviously there's not 6 of them, but if I wanted to add something to this, now see it still gives me what I had before. You know, if this were more than one of these, I might type in tip 5 or 4, and then just click off in space to accept that. Obviously that's not the case, but I just want to show you that that works with any kind of dimension you create. All right guys, hopefully this helps you out. Thanks for tuning in.